know how many times people would be trying to drop warrants if you could only call over the phone and get them dropped? So, you know, you gotta take what even Alvo says with a grain of salt. You know, Alvo knows what his back office looks like and how his views are coming in. So, you know, Alvo claimed that he was not going to be dragging Shamar and bullying him like allegedly he was saying 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 was doing. But soon as he got a moment, he's back dragging Shamar, and he even admits that he's going to talk about Shamar every day, but he's making it seem like he's doing it because he's just disgusted with Shamar. But he knows that Shamar's the content, and it's also the end of the month, is crunch time. He needs that check to be coming in right so he can pay his rent. So let's be mindful of all this stuff and don't sit there and listen to everything that Alvo's saying to be the truth, because we know he lies.
Like, you know what, maybe you just mean because people be mean to you, but no, Shamar, you just a nasty hearted person. Like, your spirit is evil, and even if you didn't have the disability that you have, you still would have been an evil person, bro. You still would have been an evil person. And it took me to now to really just realize that. Like, at first I thought, well, no, maybe it's because people be bothering him. No, even if you didn't have that disability, you would have been a nasty person, bro. That's just the type of person you is, bro. You evil as hell, and everything you do it maliciously. Like, you just and you bother people purposely, and then you play on your disability. Like, you are a narcissist and you a manipulator. That's why you so cool with LaShawn, because LaShawn is the same thing.
And he has the nerve to call somebody a narcissist, Alvo does, when he literally is trying to make grown folks, not people in his age bracket, not people in his circle, that's the only ones that would believe that foolishness. He's really trying to make people think that he made a few phone calls. He even made it seem like he talked to the judge. That right there should let you know he's a liar. Okay, and he's making it seem like it got lifted, that warrant, and they rescheduled. Now, they probably rescheduled, but they did not reschedule because Alvo called talking about Shamar. They think that they're bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the courthouse or the judge. They're not doing any special privileges for Shamar or Alvo. So please do not listen to anything that these people say. They lie. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up.
I want to hang around LaShawn every day because all LaShawn want to do is be in drama. Shamar, you don't even like doing good with your own life. You don't like nothing to prosper. You dwell in negativity. That's why your life's so negative. That's why you go through everything that you go through. Like, you were weird. And nobody see why Tommy talk about you every day. And not because I'm finna talk about you every day. I gotta go to court in a month. Bitch, I'm finna talk about you every day to my court day. I need some recs. I gotta be sitting on some recs, and I need to be sitting on some recs for when I go to court. So whatever happens, you feel me? I come home with some recs. I'm talking about your ass every day. Think about it. Sure is. Y'all can we get to 200 likes? I'm talking about you every day. I got to talk about you. I'm not gonna let you win. Shamar, I refuse to let a crowd. I refuse to let a seahorse, a llama.
Do you notice what he just said? He said, I got to be sitting on some racks. I told you it's about the money. He sits there, he lies to his supporters. He tries to tell them he's not going to talk about Shamar. He tried to, because he wanted to one up on 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛, because he's been talking about how 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 makes $7,000 a month. That's the number he's always saying about 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛. That bothers him so bad that 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 gets more than he gets a month. And he is trying to get where 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛's at. So I guess he probably was sitting with himself, you know, because he sits with himself probably more than he's on live, and he's in that house drinking or smoking weed, and he's in his head and he's saying, I want to get that kind of money 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 gets. So I'm just gonna sit there and do what 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛 does. I'm gonna keep talking about Shamar, and I hope Shamar comes into my live and harasses me like he does 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗖𝗛, so I can get the views. I'm telling you exactly what Alvo does. He's very calculated, manipulating, hateful, and conniving. And he's a liar.
And when Tommy, and another fact, I don't like Tommy because I'm gonna read Tommy too. But Tommy, you on pause. I don't care what Tommy said about me, how much Tommy read me. Tommy is on pause. My worry right now is that llama. That llama, y'all.
Frederica, I believe you. I've had warrants too, and I know I can't. You just don't call nobody on no phone, and it clears up that way. But like I said, I really feel like this warrant with Alvo or warrants with Alvo, this whole legal situation with Alvo is gonna just drag out like it's been doing. He's gonna tell us another set of, like he's doing now, it's another set of lies about this legal situation, and then you won't hear about it for a while, and then it still won't be cleared up. Did you guys get your notification? Put a Y in the chat. I think a lot of y'all probably didn't, but if you did, I'm kind of surprised. But also, this is an early live. I usually go 1 o'clock is the earliest, but I've been doing the last couple of days 11.
I seen Shamar bed sheets. It looked like llama spit. Shamar just sitting there ejaculating llama spit all over his bed. You nasty boy. You just laying in days old nut and just go on by your day. Why you doing it all? It's just llama spit all out his mouth everywhere. You don't even wash his clothes. All you see is llama spit.
But you lay with him.
Just real thick llama spit everywhere all over his bed while he's trying to read. We was trying to read me. And then Shamar, you don't walk all the way to the store. Don't even remember where your address at. Each month, I went the wrong way. Oh wait, I ain't lost. I just gotta go this way. Shamar, by the time you get home, you gonna be funky. I know them nuts gonna be smelling like dead folks. I know that butt gonna be smelling like a dead possum on the side of the road. I know that neck salty. I know that neck is a whole bag of saltine chips. And guess what you're gonna do, Shamar? Go lay right up in that bed, prop that phone up, and keep on talking. And guess what you're gonna do? Get under that cover and spit lumber milk. Shamar, you're nasty. Baby, I would never. Baby, I walked to the. As soon as I walked to the store.
Shamar was so nasty, but he laid with them, and he only tried to make it seem like he did with Tom. He tried to make it seem like he only lay with him a few times. But every time Alvo got mad, it seemed like every time he talked about their, between the sheets and behind closed doors experience, there were many, 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 many times, all those months he was with Shamar, that he was beating that back down. Okay. And you were laying with that llama because you're a clout chaser. But you're not only a clout chaser, you're a clout chaser who will do anything for clout. You're like one of those industry dudes that you'll do anything. You like, how you hear about dudes in the industry, they're supposed to be straight, but they'll do something with maybe an executive, you know what I'm saying? Some strange things with an executive to get a record deal or something like that, or a movie, whatever, or deal or whatever you want to call it. He would do that just to get ahead. He has no morals. Some people, it's called selling your soul to the devil. Alvo is he should be in the dictionary near people who will sell their soul just to get ahead. Any means necessary.
Yeah, babe, I walk to the store, I come back, bitch, I go right in the shower. Ain't no way. And you talking about you capable of watching yourself, you capable of taking care of yourself. I'm on him every day. I'm sorry, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's get to 200 likes. I'm talking about him every day.
He's doing that for the money. Yeah, he's doing that for the money. Don't sleep on Alvo. Alvo is doing all of this for the money, and it's really sad. And and like I said, it's the Black community is so enslaved because it's like there's channel holders out here, that I feel as though, and I'm not even speaking of myself, I'm just saying in general that, put in the work or whatever. We all talk about Shamar, but when you're like flip-flopping up against the fence, and 1 minute you're saying that you're not going to drag Shamar, and you try to throw Tommy the Gossip under the bus, but yet and still you're doing the same thing. To me, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted. It's almost like you really had a heart-to-heart with yourself, and you said, you know what? I can't keep pretending like I don't want to talk about Shamar, and drag this man's name. I need money. I want to be like Tommy. I want, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he, Tommy already one up him because Tommy already got the money, right? Tommy allegedly is making $7,000 a month. I'm saying that because I'm not looking at Tommy's money. I'm not pocket watching. So he also one-upped him because he went and bought furniture and didn't have to hesitate and wait like Alvo did to get furniture. So now Tommy got the furniture. Tommy Ben had the bank account which with funds in it saved away, and he allegedly makes $7,000 a month, and Alvo doesn't. Alvo's jealous of all that. You know what I'm saying? It says Alvo, that says a lot about how low you will go. You slept with him. Yep, he slept with him. And now he wants to drag him. Alvo, you kissed that man in the mouth with the llama spit. Yep, doing all of that. He stays saying he stinks, but was all up in that stink. But yep, he was. I didn't get mine either. Oh, you didn't get yours, your notification? Not llama spit. I'm hollering. Yeah, what you should be hollering at is how could he be talking about llama spit when he was kissing that person in the mouth? Tommy and Alvo are different. Tommy is actually funny and is not always about Shamar. It isn't. But Alvo somehow, I'm telling you, even though he tells you he's not going to talk about Shamar, he's tired of talking about Shamar, it's always about Shamar. Now, we don't know. I don't know Shamar personally. And one thing I will say I do have in common with Tommy is I'm gonna keep it real. I don't care who don't like it, as long as the numbers don't lie and people are interested in hearing updates on the circus or Shamar, the ringleader of the circus. I'm gonna present it. The numbers don't lie. So but what I'm trying to say is, Alvo, you know him in real life. You clout chased it off this man's name. You dated this dude just to get clout. So sometimes people might look at you differently. You trying to talk about Shamar, because it's like you're trying to let us know that you're trying to stay relevant. You know that if you don't talk about Shamar, you won't stay relevant because you'll just be looked at as the ex-boyfriend. Alvo, you lay with Clue. Yeah, I kind of figured he lay with Clue because it seemed like they was in a relationship the way they were talking the other day. And I was like, was he ever messing with Clue? But I wasn't too sure, so I didn't go there with it. You have no standards or morals. He'll go low to get where he wants. Exactly. Yep. Let's be clear, when you say Black community, Alvo isn't part of Black American freemen. Now he is a immigrant, babe. Whatever you want to call it, and he comes from a culture. Wow. Shamar says he hates Tommy, but every time Tommy goes live, he's there in his chat. He likes to start them claims he's being bullied. Don't start nothing. It won't be nothing. Exactly. If he doesn't go inside of Tommy's live, he wouldn't have to worry about it. Yes, SL, you keep it real. Tommy low key be giving Shamar advice. Yeah, but he doesn't like to listen. That is what Shamar's problem is. He doesn't like to listen. And it's a really sad situation, but that's just the way it is. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Now I'm gonna go over here and see what Shamar had to say. But again, if he's cussing, I'm not going to keep him up either, because Shamar is damaging his channel. With all the cussing and carrying on, and I just don't need him rocking me to sleep doing it. So I really don't know who's telling the truth. I honestly think, and it's not that because I'm taking Shamar's side, but all that thing about that warrant with Alvo, the bond, the warrant, we know he got a warrant, but the bond being Shamar taking his name off that bond. I believe that he did take his name off the bond. I think that Alvo just feels like he can get away with lying because his followers are going to believe everything he says anyways. SL, I like that you said one time don't cuss. Yeah, I don't got, because I'm not, you can't come onto somebody's platform and just because you're comfortable doing it on your own, you're going to come over here and be cussing and carrying on. We ain't doing it. Tommy both tried to help in their own way. Shamar is just hard-headed. He knows everything. He wants to argue, right? It's not, see, this is what I don't like about Shamar at times. He doesn't realize things until it's too late. I mean, when I say too late, I'm talking about a day or two late. Like he only has like days before he realizes that, better get Mako. I'm in some trouble. And it's really sad. It really is that he's that hard-headed. But it is what it is. He's gonna have to learn the hard way. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. As simple as that. But that 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧 was bullying Shamar, and then he turns around and he's doing it now himself. He's doing worse. He's calling social workers and everything. He's calling Social Security up into his court date. He's trying to get the man's check taken. He knows that Shamar got a bond because he did, in fact, get arrested. He probably got arrested both those times. The time in the train station when he said that he was held, Shamar was putting them handcuffs, and I'm quite sure they did not let him back out those handcuffs. Yes, like a delayed delivery, for example. He was getting sued and it was being talked about for weeks. Oh yeah, when he got sued for the $20,000, it didn't click until weeks later and he crashed out online. Exactly. Hey Deirdre, did y'all get your notification? Hello Linda, did y'all get your notifications? Put a Y in the chat if you did. Cause I noticed that you guys are coming in. So it could be also because both Alvo and Shamar are live, so I wouldn't expect for it to be a huge crowd because they're live. So, but I'm still gonna ask either way. But I did try to play some of Alvo because but I had to take it down only because of the simple fact that I'm not going to have him cuss. And, like I said, it doesn't make any difference whether I play the live when they're live or when they're not live. Hey, Bonita, because, hey, Deirdre, because, if they're going to be cussing and carrying on, I can't let them rock me to sleep on my channel with the cussing and carrying on. Because like I said, it's just a matter of time when YouTube eventually does an audit that they're going to be in trouble. I love how the likes are matching the views. Let's keep it up, everyone. Yeah, and I hope it does. I hope it does continue to go up. I hope that while we're live, I know this is an early live, that everybody hits the like button as they come in. And it says Tommy reads Shamar, and it's funny, but Alvo reads Shamar. He goes dark with it. Exactly, Linda. There's a difference. He's trying to be so much like 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧, income wise, funny wise, and how he reads 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧 reads Shamar. He's trying to be so much like 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧 Alvo is that is sickening. But he needs to just be like Alvo, because you're not 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧 at all, and you just need to go sit down. You don't get a lot of respect in the community, not even just on YouTube or in this sector, but just in general, because you sold your soul. Grand Rising Queen in chat. Hi, love. Make sure everyone that's coming in here, y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button, everyone that's in here. Yeah, he sold his soul, and I think a lot of people are not giving him any respect for that. Alvo is getting his karma. It was time. All he did to everyone is just coming back in full circle. It continues like karma will continue. Yep. Says Linda, yes, Alvo does go way dark when he reads Shamar. He goes way dark on everybody. He just gets carried away, and he has also a tendency of mixing the truth with lies. He can definitely tell when his audience is interested, and when he's saying the truth and it's not enough for Alvo, the response from the audience, he starts mixing in lies. So that's why you never know what is true. And just like that, the warrant was removed because he's allegedly saying Shamar sabotaged that, and he called the people, I guess, at the courthouse, and they dropped the warrant and they rescheduled another court date. They don't do that. So he's only talking to some of his supporters that are probably slow. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say they're all slow. They might not all believe what he's saying at all, but they're just not, saying anything. Did you see Alvo got his warrants taken care of? Doesn't have any Now he actually needs to thank Shamar. No, he's saying that Shamar didn't take him off the bond. He didn't take his name off the bond. I don't believe that. I believe that Shamar did take his name off the bond. And that's what I was talking about earlier, Bonita, but you're just now coming in. But yeah, I don't believe that. That's just in my opinion. I think that Alvo's lying about that because he wants people like Messy Doll or whoever might get his address, could get it in between the time he does have to take care of his legal situation. He doesn't want nobody banging on that door trying to tell him to open it. Because if he does open that door and he does have, in fact, warrants and they're out of state, he's already in violation, Bonita, because how are you in Houston, Texas, but you're on probation in Atlanta, Georgia? That's a violation of your probation right there. That's a surrender, automatic surrender right there. So you gotta use critical thinking skills when you listen to some of the things that he's telling you, because we all know he's a compulsive liar. So just tread lightly with some of the stuff that you're listening to, because just because it's coming out of the person's mouth, that does not mean that they're telling the truth. So says you can't take care of a warrant over the phone. Thank you. You cannot. And I repeat, you cannot. It says you have to see the judge, especially by Alvo leaving Houston. He's considered a fugitive on the run. Exactly, Frederica. He's a fugitive on the run. He already violated his probation because he violated his probation because he ain't been going to probation even when he was in Atlanta. That was already a surrender of probation. And because failure to go to probation, warrant was issued. Then he's a fugitive with a warrant, and he's living in another state. He never got permission from the judge or probation to go out of state. That's another warrant and a violation. And if it's not as serious as he claims, then why is he running or needs to move every time the address is leaked? Exactly, Love Erica. Not only that, why can't he just go clear it up? Take a bus or a train. The cheapest way to get there and get it done. Why are you doing this? I'm waiting for the next court date crap. You've been doing this for the longest time, and it's a pattern of behavior. Shamar did not, but bedtime been. Please do not put people's channels in my chat. Please, especially not that channel. And I'm not gonna say the person's name because I'm not messy. I don't even care for that channel holder at all. And I definitely do not want that channel holder being promoted in my channel, Bonita. And I know you didn't know that, but again, I'm not being messy because I didn't say the channel holder you put inside of my chat. But please do not even be name dropping. Now, we name drop people like Tommy the Gossip. I talk about him frequently, and that's okay. That's okay, sweetie, Bonita. But other than that, it's not really good to be name dropping any channel holders or anybody in particular, especially if it's something negative. But you wasn't saying nothing negative, but I don't rock with that person at all. I just don't. Shamar did, but I forgot. Now I put it back up. Ooh, child. I was trying to read your comment, Bonita, thinking I missed one of your comments, but it was a comment that I don't want up in my chat. Do he really think us grown believe? Yeah, he really does believe that we believe him. Yes, he does, Nicole. He sure does. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Oh, he sure does believe that. And it's so sad. I just really wish that we could just go back to commentary, entertainment. This is just getting way out of control. I really feel like they're destroying the sector with this mess. I mean, they're just going too far with all this mess. And it's destroying the sector. It really is. And it's all over jealousy and greed. Everyone's pocket watching instead of watching their own pockets. I bet you if they took the time out and focused on themselves, they would accomplish more. I go live. This is my thing when I have time. You see, a couple of days ago, I didn't go live for 2 days. I also didn't put a lot of videos up, but I did make sure I put up some pre-recorded videos. Those are my evergreen content. However, I'm not pocket watching what the next channel holder's doing. That's why another reason why you don't hear me wanting you guys name dropping channel holders in here either. Not one, because I'm not promoting them. They're not promoting me. And it's like pulling teeth when they do need to use my content to even promote me. But I'm not worrying about what they're doing. I don't care what they're doing. And if I did, I would not be focused on where I need to be on my channel, because I would be doing too much, worrying about other people instead of worrying about myself. I don't know. He keep lying because Shamar did remove his name. I don't watch Alvo because he has a bad mouth. Yeah, he's messed up. Dude's messed up in head. Straight lying. He just sat with himself. He didn't go live, but I think one time yesterday, and he sat with himself and came up with that lie. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. You know, but hey, if you like it, I love it. But he said that lie about Shamar about Shamar removing his name, not removing his name off the bill because of the simple fact that he does not want Messy Doll or somebody who might get wind of his address to rock him to sleep. That's just the bottom line, honey. So you like I said, you can believe what you want to believe, but I tell you this much, I wouldn't believe too much of what Alvo says. It is crazy, honey. Yeah. Thank you, Bonita. Thank you, sweetie. Says Alvo is not how you go on the run. You were not supposed to be online telling where you, especially getting in the point. Right. Well, that's why he's still lying, because he don't want nobody sending no police there before he goes to his court date. Because remember, let's say hypothetically speaking, he's not lying. Alvo is not lying, which we know he is. And his court date say is on the 31st of this month. If somebody finds out between now and the 31st where he lives, calls the police to his resident, he opens the door. Now he's in police custody in Houston, Texas. Then they have to have him. They'll probably push his court date back because they're not going to rush him back to Atlanta, Georgia, because say for an example, his court date's on the 31st. It's going to be a process. And you got to remember, they're going to have to get somebody from Atlanta, Georgia to come get him. So they're going to sit and have him wait, and they can have him wait up to 30 days, I think 40 days, or something like that. He's in custody now. So it's not like he's missing his court date. If they arrest him, he's in custody. They already apprehended him. So, that's why he's still lying, because he's not taking care of his legal situation, and pretty much he does not want anyone to call the police to his resident and he go to jail. And that's just the bottom line. Whether you want to believe what I'm saying or not, that's exactly what it is. He needs to stop all that lying, though, is what I'm saying. I don't understand why he's even lying. He should just keep his mouth closed about his personal business and just go handle it. That's it. That's all he has to do. But he's not gonna. He's not going to. And that's on him. Says, my brother lives in Dallas, but he was in Oklahoma. It took almost 5 months for them to move him back to see what I'm saying? Yeah, because if he was in Dallas is like, we're not paying to get him to Oklahoma. You guys got to bring a transporter from your state. It costs money. And, Oklahoma was probably waiting for that to happen. And Dallas was waiting for someone to come from Oklahoma. And they figure, hey, let him sit in here. He's not sitting in jail because he did a good thing, sitting in jail because he did something he had no business doing. So they're not going to break their neck to come get a fugitive. They know that the fugitive, unless he escapes from jail, he's in jail. So when we get him, we'll get him. And it depends on how backed up the clerk records are. You know, they deal with more hardened criminals and hardened offenses, and then they deal with the little other stuff. Nicole, LOL, exactly. But this is how he makes his money, so he can't stay offline. He's been telling on himself, recording everything. Yep. They're going to hold him until the sheriff picks him up. Yep. Alvo is a liar. He has 3 charges on him. Not only did he miss court, he hasn't seen. Right. So he already has a warrant for probation. It's a surrender hearing he has for probation. He also has another warrant for going out of the state without getting permission from probation or a judge. That's the second. You see what I'm saying? And he missed the court date when he was in Atlanta, where they probably would have held him, but he would have been right now doing time probably, but he would have been wrapping it up. So yeah, he wouldn't have been on social media, and he probably wouldn't have this apartment with the furniture and all this other stuff going on, but he would have his situation cleared up. Making them come to get him will be worse. Yep, that's what they always say. They will not like that. If he knew better, he'd just turn himself in. Yep. Self-incrimination. They all do it. Shamar and Alvo, they're the biggest self-incrimination. They self-incriminate themselves all the time. It's insane. It's insane. I don't get it. I guess it ain't for me to get it, but it's ridiculous. I'll tell you. But, you know, it's really sad what people will do for the love of money. You know, but like I said, you know, I don't know if you guys look at Bigo, but let me tell you that right now, maybe YouTube is just, you know, fine tweaking stuff right now. So they're not really focused on some of the stuff that they wouldn't really tolerate any other time. But let me tell you this, if you don't know this, on Bigo, you can't even yell anymore. If it sounds like you're yelling on Bigo, like arguing, like, you know, and it's, you know, the algorithm, it sounds like you're fighting or, you know, being violent or whatever you want to call it. What happens is they ban you. You can't cuss. You can't even blow smoke in the camera. These social media platforms are cracking down on these toxic, you know, content creators that are up here causing havocs on their platform and causing legal situations for these social media forms, you know, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Anytime you become a problem, a legal liability, oh, they're not playing with you. So it's just a matter of time before YouTube does a crackdown on all this mess that's going on up here, all this cussing and carrying on, almost like they're verbally being just as bad as physically being bad to each other in person, but they're doing it with words that are not permitted up here on YouTube. Now he's going to need his supporters to help him get his money up. He better know he's probably not even gonna go to court. That's why Shamar keeps deleting his lives. So you are right. Yeah. But see, Shamar, he shouldn't be deleting his lives because all people got to do is record it. Matter of fact, talking about that, you just reminded me something. Hold on 1 second, guys. I was going to ask you that, but you just answered my question. It says, in his lives get screen recorded and put in other people's videos. Exactly. So I don't know why he's even wasting his time to do all that crap. It ain't working, Shamar. It really isn't working, boo. It's not. But I've gotten even to the point I'm not trying to get Shamar, monetized. He's not trying to even get himself monetized. Boy, crazy. I just don't get it. But if you like it, I love it. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit the like button.